It's an absolute pleasure to welcome Stephen Quinn to the From the Club podcast. Thanks for coming on, Stephen.
No, you're very welcome. Thanks for having me. I don't really know why you want me on, but yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, I'm sure there's thousands of people that are going to be watching that are pleased that you are. Quinny, tell us everything we need to know about you in 60 seconds.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm a professional footballer. I play for Mansfield Town. Had a probably a long career in professional football and probably nearing towards the end. Good family man, got three kids, a wife, and yeah, just everything I do, I suppose, is for them now.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, Stephen, let's start at the very beginning. What was life like growing up as a kid?
Yeah, it was great. I've got lots of siblings actually. I'm one of 15, so it was carnage in my house back in the day. So yeah, it was council estate in Dublin sort of thing, and just yeah, hard working family, and we had to eat or be eaten in my house. So, but yeah, no, I loved it. We had a great childhood, and yeah, all we sort of knew, me and my brothers, was out in the streets playing football.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you that. I mean, what age did you start kicking a ball, and when did you realise that you were really good at it?
Oh, it's from since in nappies really. My brothers have obviously played football in the game, and they were a lot older than me. So literally, when I came out, I was kicking a football and trying to keep up with them. So it was yeah, ever since I was young, and it was back on them streets where I learned all the sort of the things I know now, and the hard work and the graft and yeah, there was some big games back then. We used to make goals and out of wood and stuff like that, and yeah. So I mean, there was lots of good players in my area, and some that could have gone on to play professionally but didn't. But yeah, it was a great place to grow up, really.
Yeah. When did you become aware that there were scouts looking at you?
I was pretty young actually, playing for a team called Cherry Orchard. We had a real good team, and I don't know if you remember the Milk Cup back in the day up in Northern
Yeah.
Ireland. So we used to go there with Cherry Orchard, and then there'd be lots of clubs from England. There'd be yeah, there'd be the national teams and stuff like that, and it was a big deal really back then. So yeah, I played a couple of times in that, and then since then it was more like lots of scouting. But Cherry Orchard's a massive schoolboy club in Ireland, and lots of scouts hover around. You've got the likes of like Keith Fahey, Andy Reid, Gary Dicker, who was at Brighton, one of my best mates. So you had real good players that came from that club. So there was always scouts scouting around that area. So yeah, I did plenty of trialing when I was younger, back and forth. I think I was like 12 or 13 when I went to my first trial, which sounds and seems daft now because I don't think I'd let my son go abroad on his own and trial, but that's the way it was. And yeah, so it was interesting from a young age. But I suppose my brother was sort of a professional footballer at that point, so it was probably one of those where scouts thought, he's got pedigree, so let's get him over.
Yeah. Well, it didn't take long for Sheffield United to start taking an interest into what you were doing as well. What do you remember about making that move? I mean, you mentioned that you were going on trials at 13. You obviously made the permanent move at just 18 years old. What was that like to move so far away from home at such a young age?
Yeah, it was difficult. Like I said, I was traveling from when I was 12, 13, but nobody really took the plunge on me as yeah, no club really wanted to take the plunge, and I was really quite slight and small. Had some technical ability, I suppose, but yeah, these teams weren't taking a plunge. So in 17, 18, and I just thought I missed the boat by then, to be honest. But luckily enough, I had a trial at Sheffield United, and yeah, they went for me, and obviously it was difficult. My younger brother came over in trials also, so they actually signed him as well. So we both landed in Sheffield, and we stayed in digs together, and it was difficult, really difficult. But like, I suppose only for my little brother as well, like, sort of we bounced off each other and got each other through.
Yeah, yeah, no, of course. And what do you remember about being told that you were going to be making your debut? And also, of course, what do you remember about the build up and the game itself?
Oh, so when I landed, I played a few reserve team games, a couple of youth team games, and to be honest, I was on a good trajectory. Like I was playing well. I felt like the whole environment suited me, and I knew, having missed out on a lot of those trials and clubs not signing me, I thought this is my opportunity. I've got to make it work now. And so I was playing really well for the reserves, and luckily enough, I got a call up for one of the cup games, Carabao Cup. I think we were playing Shrewsbury in the cup game, and yeah, Neil Warnock called us up along with a couple of other young lads, and we just sensed it was a real good opportunity. And he put us in. He threw us in really. We beat Shrewsbury in the cup. We went to penalties actually, and yeah, it was just one of there where you just knew, oh, this is me. Like I want this even more now. And once you get that little taste of first team football, you're ready, and you just want more and more.
Yeah. What was you like as an 18-year-old kid? Could you remember being nervous before the game, or was you just like, so ready for it, and you didn't kind of, have those nerves that a lot of people would have had?
Yeah, I don't think I really had that many nerves. You're young, you're naive, you're just you're going in. I remember I used to just knock on Neil Warnock's door, like the audacity, really, just saying like I want to play, and I was only just off the plane from Ireland. Um, so, and when I got that taste of of first team football against Shrewsbury, then I was knocking the door again, just saying I just want to be in the squads. I feel like I'm ready, which I probably wasn't. And I played a couple of more reserve team games, and luckily enough, after that cup game, Danny Wilson came in, and I went on loan, out on loan.
Yeah. You mentioned Neil Warnock. Obviously, everyone's going to know him as a complete character, real character, and of course that dressing room was lively. You also had people like Paddy Kenny in that dressing room as well. What do you remember about both of those people?
Yeah, well, characters is the word you've said, and that's what you'd sum them up like. They were like real, giants of that changing room, and the gaffer was a bit crazy. I thought at the time, I was like, wow, this is a character of a man. But one you'd look after. He gave me my chance and my opportunity for Sheffield United, and I'll be always grateful for that. But like, along with Paddy, but we had like big Premier League players that were like Keith Gillespie, Neil Shipperley, Craig Short. These men they were men, and
Yeah.
and you knew about it in the change room. I mean, they call each other out, and they'd be having each other up by the throat on a Saturday if someone made a mistake. But then Monday morning you come in and they're having a cup of tea beside each other, laughing and joking. It was a real great environment, but it was an honest environment, and I suppose that stemmed from Warnock.
Yeah. You enjoyed some amazing success at Sheffield United, a club where you're still loved by the fans today, over 200 appearances and 20 goals. What are your favourite memories when you look back at that time now?
I suppose just making my debut and playing in the Premier League. Really, I haven't been so young. Um, and Warnock just he threw me in, and trusted me. I had no fear, really had no fear. I was quite aggressive, and I knew what I wanted, and obviously missed out on opportunities when I was a kid getting scouted. So I just thought I knew I had to grasp this moment. So, just making my Premier League debut, and then I've just been grateful for the club, to the club, really, because they showed they showed loyalty with me, when I wasn't playing great, and I had many great years. People at the club are unbelievable, and still to this day they're still working here, working there actually. I still live in Sheffield, still support them and go down when I can. So yeah, it was an amazing time at Sheffield United. And just in the end, it was time for me to move on. But yeah, like I said, I've got a lot of happy memories, fond memories, but I owe the club a lot.
Yeah. You mentioned moving on. Of course, that move was to Hull City. How did that move come about, Stephen?
Um, well, like I said, I had 7 years maybe at Sheffield United, played a lot of games, and I wouldn't say it went stale. It was just, I was approaching probably best part and best years of my career. I was mid-20s, and I was hungry, and I wanted to play higher. And we just missed out the season before on in the playoff final against Huddersfield on penalties to go back into the championship. So I was on my last year and I was thinking, well, I really want to play higher, I really wanted to get back into the championship. And then there was talk of clubs coming in for me and whatever else. But Hull came in on deadline day, which was an interesting day. But yeah, they came in, and once I knew they were coming in for me and to play the opportunity to play for, like, obviously Steve Bruce and a championship club was one I couldn't turn down really.
Yeah. Well, of course, it was an incredible first season. Of course, like mentioned, playing under an absolute legend for Manchester United, Steve Bruce. What was he like, both as a man and as a manager, Stephen?
Um, Again, he was in like the sort of old school style of management. I mean, it was really good. Obviously signed me, so he gave me a good opportunity to to go again and play in the championship. A nice man, real nice man, on and off the pitch. It didn't take a whole lot of training, but he had really good people around him, great coaches. And if I'm honest, it was probably the most successful 3 years of my career, really, under Brucey. And yeah, again, he had this knack, a bit like Neil Warnock, a bit like Nigel Clough. Brucey had this knack of bringing good people to club, good players, and getting a strong squad of good individuals. No real big timers or anything like that. He kind of got a great squad together, and that 3 years were, like I said, were probably three of the best years of my career, really, yeah, and most successful, I'd say.
Yeah, well, it got off to a good start, didn't it? In that first season, you played a crucial role in getting the club promoted to the Premier League, a season where you also won the Player of the Year award. What are your favourite memories over your time at Hull?
The people, I would say, the players I played with, I suppose, they were class. Like, I had a lot of Irish lads there, which helped. And yeah, we were successful that first season. We went up to the Premier League, so it was like, wow, amazing times, amazing moments. And like you say, just getting recognition from your fellow players and peers, um, to win that sort of Player of the Year was one that was like, it meant a lot, because I just felt like I deserved to be where I was at. And then obviously the Premier League, we had highs and lows. We ended up like making FA Cup finals, and making Europe, and everything else. It was a crest of a wave, where it was so exciting, and like I said, it was just mental to be a part of. But when you're on that journey with great lads and great people, it makes it even more special.
Yeah, I can imagine, mate. I can imagine. Following on from your time at Hull was a move to Reading, but it's a club after that that I really want to speak to you about, because you joined up with some people that you'd go on to work with for many years to come. And of course, that's manager Nigel Clough, who you mentioned, and fellow player Lucas Atkins. What can you tell us about both of these men?
Ah, the two of the best, two of the best I've played with, and worked under. Again, more people that you just like, you owe a lot to, because at that point, that was probably one of the lowest in my careers, coming from Reading, where I thought my career was over, to be honest. Um, I had a bad knee injury. I just couldn't make it back. And if there's one manager in the world you want to end up with, it's Nigel Clough. And it was not far from my house, so it was like, it was commutable. And when I got there, I thought, I'll give it a go, see how the knee lasts. And he gave me the time, he gave me the space. You know, I didn't have to train every day. He just wanted me to get the knee right, and when I was ready, he threw me straight in. To be honest, I don't think I played a game for over a year or whatever, and it was probably the best thing that could happen to me, to land on a manager like that, and two, for him to just throw me straight back in, and see if I could sort of swim, and not sink again. So yeah, I've got a lot to owe the gaffer for. He's a top man. He's one that he's like a father figure, and he's one that you just don't want to let down. And and I'd feel really bad if I had a bad game for him, because of the opportunity he gave me. And that's why I'll be probably forever indebted to him.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. What started off as a loan move, of course, then became permanent. A club where you are now, a club where you're extremely popular with the fans. Stephen, how special is Mansfield Town to you?
Um, yeah, in my latter years in my career, it's been unbelievable. Like really has. More so as well because my kids are older and they've bought into the whole Stags fan and they're like proper fans now. My kids, they're singing Yellow Yellows in the car on the way home. They've got all the chants and they've bought into it. So it's got sort of like rejuvenated me again to love the game even more now, knowing that they're loving the journey and the ride that we've been on like the last few years. And then obviously the fans have been great because like I said before in previous interviews and stuff, it's like it's a proper club with proper fans. It's like I suppose in the Premier League and all the top leagues, it's business orientated and stuff like that. But you still got this sort of lower league feel and fans. You've got that link with the fans. When you pull up to the ground, you're walking through and you're having chats and everything else. And luckily enough, they took to me as well. But again, the gaffers got a great squad of brilliant individuals again, and it sort of got that feel like when I had a whole city that the change room so strong and I'm glad we just we did the promotion and game promotion for them last season.
Yeah. And of course, you mentioned, the kids are at an age where they're always going to remember that as well. For them to, have the highlight of seeing you get promoted last season is just incredible. When you think about that season last year, Stephen, what are the memories that stand out for you?
Um, yeah, though it was tough again, but I mean it was gradually coming over the last 2 years where every season I was playing for Mansfield in the last 3 years, I thought we've got a great chance. I really felt we could do it, but there was something different last season where I thought, wow, we've got a real strong, powerful squad here. And even when lads weren't playing and another lad would come in, it wouldn't lessen the team. And there were some big games and players stood up to it, the challenge, because we had some wobbles along the way. But I mean, I suppose the MK Dons game was the one, especially when Elliot Hewitt was out for so long, and he came back and he scored to get us going because we obviously went 1-0 down. You're thinking, oh, this might not happen, but that was a huge goal I felt for us for him. But I suppose there's a few other games where Bradford away where we beat Bradford, we knocked five maybe past them, and I just stood there and I thought, oh, yeah, this is it. I just couldn't see us not doing it. Just looking at the fans and the away support was incredible, and then obviously the night where I scored and we got the promotion over the line, that was just so special with the family there. And then the pitch, the crowds coming onto the pitch at the end. That's everything you want, everything you dream of when you're a kid.
Yeah, for sure. I want to talk about you scoring because here we are a couple of weeks into the new League One season. The players have already shown, haven't they, that they're going to battle and compete in every game this season. But a personal highlight for you has got to be early doors, that incredible goal against Barnsley. Talk us through that, Stephen.
Yeah, it was a nice one. Yeah, it happened early. We get out of the trap so well against Barnsley as well. We blew them away really in that first half, and it could have been like 3-4. Obviously the corner came in. I just took on the chest and caught it sweetly. Really, it was right. I was right, obviously right behind. It was like the parting of the waves. I thought if it doesn't hit a defender, it's definitely going into the corner of the net, and luckily enough it did. And once it left my boot, I knew it was one of them. It was got a great chance of going in, but it was just good for us to get that win against Barnsley, and just to settle into the league. And yeah, I thought we were outstanding in that first half.
Yeah, definitely. Well, with the kit you were wearing as well, I thought we were watching Brazil at one point. The
Yeah,
football on display was incredible,
that
wasn't it?
was it. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, Steve. I mean, as fans, you know what it's like for us to see you guys score a goal, but we can't even imagine what it must be like for you to score a goal like you did against Barnsley. How do you kind of describe that feeling in that moment?
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, the blood rush through your veins. Like it's unreal. It's a bit. I'm a bit weird. Like I'd probably prefer to make a goal than score one. To be honest, I get a bit embarrassed when I score a goal. Um, so I'd probably rather set one up than actually score. I know goal scorers like strikers, they'll tell you the complete opposite. But
Yeah,
yeah. I suppose I get more like privilege out of like setting somebody up than scoring. But yeah, that day, and when you score an important goal, they are unbelievable moments. I would say probably the end of last season, that goal was more important, and that
Yeah,
got. But obviously, it's an amazing feeling. Like,
yeah. One player that's already caught the eye this season is Keanu Bacchus. He looks like a great addition to the squad, doesn't he? What's he been like to play with so far?
yeah, Bacchus has been great. He's a great lad, another good lad into the squad, and adds so much energy and tenacity as well. You know, obviously he'll need time to settle in more to the English game, but he's took to it really well at the minute, and he's got bundles of energy and loads of legs. He wins the ball back really well, and then yeah, it's been a good start from him. Obviously, he's lots to learn as well. So yeah, it looks a really good cue from the gaffer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It must be special as well to have your nephew Ben with you at the club, having left Celtic last season. Was it about your family that keeps on producing these footballers?
I don't know. I don't know really. Actually, it's yeah, it's like another one off the conveyor belt. It's yeah, no, I'm delighted for Ben. Obviously, it's only he's got a year contract, and you know it's only the start of his career, and I'll do all I can to help him. But obviously the gaffer's seeing something in him that he thinks he could go on and do something in the game. So it's all down to him at the end of the day. But I'm so happy that he's got an opportunity at Mansfield. But it's one that he has to grasp now.
You mentioned earlier when you're 38 years old now, an incredible career
Did I mention
already in
that?
the
Did I
bag.
mention I was 38?
Plenty more still to come, Stephen, I'm sure. What's been the secret behind your career's longevity?
I suppose the first thing is the love of the game. I never played it for money. I've never played it for anything else but pure love. Every time I go out onto the pitch, I feel like I'm back in that council estate in Dublin playing football, and that's why I find it so difficult to let go. Um, so there's that, and then obviously I know over the years I'm sort of in tune with my body, and I know what I need to get myself out onto the pitch and what I'd need to feel good. Lucky enough, I've got great people like chiropractors, and obviously a local lad with Derry Suter, who was Jess Ennis, ex ex physiotherapist. So I see him a lot. He's helped me throughout my whole career, 15 years or so. I've seen Des. So little things like that, you got. I suppose I always stay on top of it, you know. And I just want to be the best. I want to be at the best condition going into a game. And luckily enough, I have a good team like that around me. And obviously the physios at clubs who've been brilliant. Tom, obviously, and Mansfield as well. So it's great when you've got that at your disposal, but not everybody utilizes it as much as they should.
You're in a unique position to be able to answer this question, Quinny. Having played at every level in league football, what would you say are the differences between a player that can stand out in League Two and then a player that can take that and then do it in the Championship or even the Prem?
It's a good question, really, because when I joined Mansfield, I look around some players and I feel like they could easily play higher. I don't know what it is. Maybe I just don't think lads realize how close they are at getting to the top. You know, you look at the runs Luton have gone on and stuff like that to get to the Prem. So it's actually touchable more than they actually realize. You know, if they just maybe applied themselves a little bit more, or a bit more professionalism, then you can actually do it. You know, one that springs to mind would be like a lad at Burton Albion, which was Marcus Harness. He wasn't getting in near the Burton squads. He was out in the National League, probably even lower. Came back, got his head down, ended up getting into the Burton team. Then he moved on to Portsmouth. He moved on to Ipswich. Ipswich got promoted, and he's in the Premier League at the moment. You know, so stories like that, and I've watched his progress, and it makes you proud, like, you know, to play with him, and just understand and realize that everybody's got their own journey, but you can never write off playing in the Premier League, even if you're playing in the conference. So you just got to probably apply yourself a bit more, and true belief and grit and determination, and you've got every chance. Obviously, you need a bit of quality as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's really good. Interesting stuff. Amongst all the successes you've had within club football, you've also been capped 18 times for the Republic of Ireland. Take me back to the first one. What do you remember about being told that you're going to be picked for the national team?
Ah, but like it's a proudest moment. Yeah, like I'm a proud Irishman anyway. You know, it's the one and only thing that I want to do is represent your country, and it was the proudest moment of my life getting called up. And just pulling on the Ireland jersey. It was and singing the national anthem, and I'm just thinking we've got England this weekend, so I'm a little bit, oh God. Um, but yeah, pulling on the green jersey and singing that national anthem is the proudest moment. I'm sure any footballer would playing for representing their country you can have. And when it was on the Trapattoni, another sort of legend of the game, and giving me my debut was a bit surreal, to be honest. But you know, one of them moments for you just look back and think, well, all the hard work's paid off, and it's one of them where your family's in the crowd, and it's yeah, it's the pinnacle of your career, really.
Yeah. Of course, some of those caps have come against some of the best in the world, including Spain and Germany. When you look back at your time as an international footballer, what are the highlights that stand out for you, Stephen?
Yeah, well, just saying them names and some of the players we played against, it's like again, it's a surreal moment. But yeah, the highlights, yeah, obviously getting to the Euros with Ireland, that was unbelievable. That was a great journey, a great group. Again, when when you when you get a good squad together and you know you get that energy and the connection, you can go so many places. You can go so high, and you can obviously get promotions. You can go on and meet, you know, make major tournaments. Um, so we made a Euros in France, which was amazing and experience. But then obviously playing against the likes of Spain, France, Germany, and Italy and stuff like that, it's like what I was writing about this in my school book back in the day, you know, or playing at Wembley. And you're like, this is actually happening. But I
Yeah.
suppose you just gotta pinch yourself and just think, well, you deserve to be here, but let's get to work.
Yeah, yeah. You played with one of Ireland's best ever players in Robbie Keane, an amazing career. What's he like as both a man and as a player, Stephen?
Yeah, Rob, yeah, obviously captain of Ireland, and you know, kind of he played with my brother Alan, so I kind of knew him beforehand, and then obviously I round went with Ireland then, um, which was uh, which was fun really. Rob was still in the States at that time, and he was playing for the Galaxy, so his body clock was a bit all over the place when we'd meet up in the hotel. So I just remember him. I went to the toilet one night and I came back to get into bed, and he was in my bed and frightened the life out of me. He just couldn't sleep. He was on a different body clock. But yeah, Robbie's top lad. He's funny. He was heart and soul of the Ireland squad. Obviously a legend and an unbelievable player. So it was yeah, it was great that I got to play the opportunity to play with Rob.
Yeah. Have you ever attempted to do his goal celebration?
Nah, definitely not. No way. No, I definitely need the chiropractor after that.
For sure. Stephen, in a career where you've already achieved so much, what do you think of the realistic expectations, both for you as a player this season and for the club as well?
Yeah, well, when I obviously thinking about signing back in the summer and stuff like that, I don't think I would have signed back if we didn't. I didn't want to try and stay on this trajectory of can we still climb the leagues and what you know what's next? Can we keep pushing the boundaries? And obviously, I hope that we can compete in this league for one, but then obviously could we do it again? Could we dream again? And I don't think there's any harm in dreaming, and especially you know with the squad we've assembled and the gaffer adding again. Obviously, if we stay away from injuries and stuff like that, you never know. So I just thought, well, yeah, well, why not keep dreaming? And you know, it's happened before and it can happen again. So yeah, obviously, being realistic, you want to stay in the league. The club wants to stay in the league, but who knows where it can take us.
Yeah, for sure. Stephen, absolutely nobody's in a rush for you to hang your boots up. But when that time does finally come, what are you hoping to do after football?
Um, Yeah, I should probably have a plan by now. But yeah, no, I've started my badges. I'd like to stay in the game, to be honest. Um, I don't know. I'd like maybe manage one day would be great. You know, just learning from all the great managers I played under. Um, Obviously I've got keen businesses outside of football as well, which are going good at the moment. So I've got those to look on, fall back on, and then obviously the family and watching my kids grow up as well. So it's yeah, it's exciting times. But you know, I'd like to, because I love and so passionate about the game. I think I'd have to stay in it in some capacity.
Well, hopefully we'll keep you playing for at least another 5 years, Stephen.
You know
Anyways, we
about
won't have
that.
to worry about that for a bit. Stephen, we're going to take a really quick break before coming back to ask you the signature from the club questions. As a business, we're all about official signed memorabilia. So these last few questions are all memorabilia related. Are you ready?
Yep.
Stephen, have you ever asked anyone for their autograph in person before? And if so, who?
Yeah, I was thinking about this. I have back when I was younger. Obviously, it's been a long time now, but yeah, I remember I have a photo actually of it. Me asking Steve Staunton when we took a trip to Liverpool when I was back in the day. So yeah, I go with Steve Staunton as the one I can remember anyway.
Yeah, brilliant. And we've got to say a big thank you, Stephen. You've signed absolutely loads for us recently, haven't you? All the team photos and all of those white cards as well. That's obviously on our website. So thank you very much for
No, you're
supporting
welcome.
us in that. Yeah, the fans are really excited about those. Um, Next question. What memorabilia do you own? And if so, what's your favourite piece?
Well, I'm not a big keen, you know, jersey swapper with people, but over the years I've collected a few good ones. And so I've got like my two prized ones are like Steven Gerrard's and Xavi Alonso, not Alonso's, Xavi's of Spain.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Yeah, yeah.
we played Spain in the Yankee Stadium for Ireland, and that was another surreal experience. But yeah, so I would say probably Xavi tops Gerrard's, to be honest, because that was the greatest Spain team I've ever seen. And anyway, so
Yeah, amazing. And last question, Stephen. If you could have anyone's autograph, dead or alive, who would you have and why?
that's it's a funny one that I like actors, to be honest, because obviously I like Cillian Murphy, I like Anthony Hopkins and Daniel Day Lewis or someone like that because um I just always wonder what sort of mental state they are in to play, to go into cast and prepare for a role, and how they play. Because I know like actors go disappear for 6 months to try and
Yeah.
nearly turn into a different person, and that blows my mind. So I'd love to sit down and have a chat with an actor, or you know, and get into the science, into their psyche to see how they do. Because obviously I know how footballers prepare, so it'd be nice to know how like they sort of go about it. So maybe one of their autographs or something.
Yeah. Could you see yourself doing a Vinnie Jones and turn into a little bit of acting after the playing career, Stephen?
No, I'm not sure I have that in me. No, no, definitely not.
Well, Quinny, I really appreciate your time, mate. You know, thank you so much for joining us today. Before we let you go, do you have any closing thoughts, and also let everyone know how they can follow you on social media?
And no, not really. I'd like to thank you guys actually for having me on. And I got a framed photo from you guys actually. Vicky passed it on to us, so that's very kind of you and appreciate that. And I thought, God, I'm gonna have to do this podcast now. Um, so no, honestly, thank you for that. I don't really go on social media very often. So I'm not looking for any shout outs on my social media, to be honest. So but yeah, no, I'd just like to thank all the fans for the support throughout the 3 years I've been here, 3 or 4 years that I've been at Mansfield, and I hope for that continued support, and for the boys down there, and yeah, we get more supporters and we keep climbing the leagues. So yeah, thanks to all of those.
Yeah, amazing. Well, I know you're on Instagram, Stephen. I'm going to find your Instagram account. That'll be in the description. But I was well to go and give Stephen a follow. Stephen, thanks again for your time, mate. I really appreciate it.
David, top man, thanks for having me on.